Hello everyone, my name is Keel. I am a GM, have been a GM for just over 12 years now, and have done long form campaigns, have done short campaigns, and have used a number of different systems, including Dungeons and Dragons, Mage, and Werewolf and the White Wolf systems, Blades in the Dark, and a handful of others. Today, I'm going to show you how I use ScriptoriumGM to start a completely new world. The goal is to walk you through each of the different phases of not only creating a completely new space, but also uploading documents, showing you how the AI system supports my creative flow and my creativity in general, how different aspects of the system can give me a lot of different information points and creative structures, and also show you how I map out my notes within the system, teach those notes to the system, and allow it to retrieve that data using the RAG generation model that is part of ScriptoriumGM's framework. So, to start with, as most people will have when they start this process, an idea came to me a little while ago. I really enjoy Mage the Ascension, and I would like to create a new theme, a new world based on that rule set, but not necessarily set in the same setting that White Wolf has given that game structure. So I'm very familiar and very confident with the rule set from Mage the Ascension, particularly the 20th anniversary edition. And I'd like to use a loose framework of that rule set in my game. First, I need a setting to dedicate to this. So that's what we're going to start with. In ScriptoriumGM, you have on the left-hand side, top left here, you can see it's highlighted at the moment, the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition segment, just under the title on the left-hand side. If I click on this, we will see different systems that I can create worlds in. Dungeons & Dragons has a certain framework in it already, but in this case, I'm going to go with a contemporary homebrew structure. Give that a second to load. I'm now in the contemporary homebrew structure. I don't have a campaign at the moment. I have a few other campaigns that I can select from here, things that I have created before, like a Dread game. Stonewalkers is a Cosmere-related game. But I am going to create a brand new campaign, and you can see on this homepage we have a way to choose the system as well as a way to start a new campaign, and this gives you a quick overview of what you can do. You can also take a tour at the top right-hand side to see if there's anything how to use the system from scratch. I'm going to create a brand new campaign. And this system, the onboarding process of creating a campaign, in essence, walks you through the steps of what you will need to start the process of creating a world. Now, there are some worlds that are pre-created for you, for example, in modules in D&D, or structures within, for example, the Mage setting. But in this case, I'm going to start from scratch and create a campaign from scratch. So this campaign name, I have not necessarily decided on the name of it. Let's give it a quick name to say the world. I know in this world I want magic to be leaving. Part of a big core concept of magic, Mage, the game itself, is that it's very difficult to do magic within a consensus that exists. In my campaign, I would like something to still be an anomaly or an antagonist against magic itself, but in this case, I think magic is dying. So I'm going to call this the magic, let's call it the slow death of magic. Definitely a working title. That's probably not what I'll end up with, but it gives me an idea. Campaign subtitle, brief tagline, magic is dying, and we need to figure out. Now, we have a couple of story options. So, do we want to go with a homebrew story? could be an original homebrew. You can, if you are running a particular campaign using a module, you can put this in here. This is usually more relevant for the Dungeons and Dragons section. And then you have a settings, and obviously we're going to keep it with custom setting as a homebrew. But if you have, again, if you have an existing campaign setting like Eberron, for example, which is another game that I'm running, you are absolutely able to put that in as well. And it'll, in the drop down for Dungeons and Dragons, there will be a number of different settings in. And I know this is good to have if you just want something quick to put in place, but again, we're just going to keep it as custom. So you will see at the bottom here, you have the required fields. The campaign name is a required field. You can also save as a draft. Which means if you kind of have an idea, but you haven't really formed it yet, as is my case, I might just want to throw a name in and then save this as a draft so that I can come back to this later and go, okay, I'd like to flesh this out a little bit more now. At this point, I do know what I want to start doing, so I have a plan for how to kind of structure things and go through this, so I'm not going to save it as a draft, but you always have that option. So I'm going to click on the next button, which will take me to any system materials that I would like to add, source material, into the game so that the RAG generation model can read these files. I will caveat this to say there is a lot of open game licenses that you can put in here, and then some of them are already kind of available. If you have your own game, you can add it in here as well, as long as you've paid for the content or that content is available to you through either your purchases or through direct access that's been given to you officially. That goes into here as long as it is official material or sources that you have access to or that you own personally. You can either add systems directly, so at the moment there are no files that I want to add directly, and additional books you own, so anything that you would like to add in. This could also be things like player backstories or content that you have drafted beforehand. Perhaps you have a different location where your notes currently are, and you would like to take a concept from those notes and put it into here so that you can start using it as a resource for you to ask more questions and generate more content around them. So these two are very useful for adding information initially. I am just going to leave these. Again, I don't need to add anything at the moment. You can either drag and drop the files, or you can browse your files internally. I will be putting in a document a little bit later, so I'll show you how that goes when I want to add it at that point. But at this point, I'm actually not going to add anything. This is very much a conceptual draft, so I'm just going to walk you through this step. But in some cases, you might just want to drop your Eberron campaign setting directly into here to start with, and it will upload those files. Okay, so let's go next. And then our first note gets automatically generated for us to start capturing information. So you can see your Scriptorium assistant will use your campaign idea to provide the personalized advice and suggestions that you require. So we're going to start with an overview. The slow death of magic, and magic is dying. We need to figure out why. What was your idea for this campaign? So let's take this out. And you can see this note is very much, I've got complete freedom with what I put in here. I can make this bold, italic, underlined. This is an entire section of different formatting options that I have available to me. We'll go through some of the latter options here, but these are just normal formatting options that you will have in any text editor that will work in this campaign. So we're going to remove this, and my idea for this campaign was a world of high magic, where the magic is fading and the mages are very keen to figure out why and to prevent it. Now, I currently have no idea why magic is fading, but we'll get to that. I don't need to know that right now. The idea intrigues me, and I'm hoping that it'll intrigue whatever players I would like to get into this game. Where will the adventures take place? So this is about the actual setting, this world, and I'll give the world a name. And what I tend to do when I think of something like, I've got a world and I don't really know exactly what it's going to be called, but I want to have something to it. I want to make this an asset. I might just underline this. Oopsie, not like that. Underline it. And then from here, I will continue that sentence. So this world is filled with mages who have the ability to create wonders and powerful spells. The adventures of the campaign will take place across the entire setting. Multiple adventures could take place within different locations. So I'm really creating a full setting, not just a one-shot. A one-shot would be very different, and I will actually create a one-shot at a later stage, at some point, most likely on our Discord, so that we can work together to create something interesting and unique, but specific to a one-shot setting, to make it within a few hours you have something generated that is complex and interesting and intriguing and has a lot of content, but is very, very quick to create using some of the tools and options that we have available in Scriptorium. For now, this is an entire setting module, so this is going to take a lot longer, but this is the process I very much enjoy. Who or what is the main threat? Now, I don't have an antagonist, so this actually gives me an indication that it could be a villain, organization, or situation. We absolutely know that the threat is magic wisdom. And that's it. That is my startup set of notes under the framework of this new campaign setting that I'm creating. So I am going to hit create campaign. Again, I could save this as draft if I want to add more to this, or I'm not 100% certain where I'm going. I could also just have hit finish, and then maybe just delete this note. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe I don't want this as my starting point. I have a different starting point, and I can upload that.